would have adapted. They did adapt, they did change things up, but the result was still the same. They need bigger changes. BSJ, what needs to happen for Liquid to have a shot in this grand finals against these monsters of the players from Gamin Gladiators?
I was combing through like yesterday's series, kind of confirming like what were the bans they chose. Like in game 2 yesterday, they didn't even ban the Brood, and so maybe they thought, okay, GG's not going to whip it out this far into the tournament. But I'm just like thinking, there's all these poisons that you have to pick from, and I feel like they thought they struck gold on the side of Team Liquid, that they got their Monkey King first round. Very few teams before Falcons today were giving them this hero, but they preemptively countered it with Jakiro. You think you have a really strong safe lane, the Monkey King CM, I can't think of a scarier safe lane, and it loses too. And the Necrotic Webs won both bottom lane and mid lane. Like, there's a lot of pieces of this puzzle that are missing for Liquid.
Because I kind of like what they were doing. Like, I would have absolutely, like, if the last game wasn't outdrafted, if we just take away the gameplay, the same thing would have happened to me. I like what Liquid had going for them. I will now say, going into the next draft, if you ban 3+4s, and then the fourth one kind of destroys you in lane anyway, then kind of, what's the matter with the first bans? Then you might as well just leave all of them open. At least it would have been one takeaway for me going into this game, or like take out 2, then take 1 of yourselves, because overall, yeah, again, same story as in the upper bracket final. It's the laning stage. They don't have one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having deja vu, like prime Gamin Gladiators right now, where you know what's coming, but you just don't have the answers, right? And it's like very scary, because like they're going to try a different combination of bans this time, hoping the result will be different this time. And hopefully for Gamin Gladiators it is. And I had an idea going into this what they should have done, and they kind of did that. But then they got stopped in a different area, which I think is the support diff. I think the Morphling Pos 4, it had its fun, it had its time in the sun, but against Gamin Gladiators, that's not going to fly. So you're going to have to pick something stronger. I do like in this particular game the Snap, the Hoodwink, the Jakiro, the Weaver, they're all gone. So those are all the A-listers for the position 4 right now that win the lanes. And that was kind of the issue that we had with 33 last game, is he didn't get a game because his Pos 4 was a Morphling, and he's laning versus a Chen and a Brood. He just couldn't play the game.
Yeah, compared to previous game, we had the Brewmaster making it through. It will be Team Liquid's first pick. Other than that, the Templar Assassin we saw banned first phase by Gamin Gladiator last game is still in the pool, but the rest is all the same, other than the Jakiro now being a first phase ban. He got added to the list there by Gamin. And it is Enchantress that got banned and then the Brew picked up. It does mean that the Chen that we saw previous game from Celery is still in the pool.
I think there's a reason why historically the teams that are winning all year are not the ones that get first place at events like Riyadh and TI. You know, last year Team Spirit cleaned up these 2 big tournaments, and that last year Gamin and Liquid were the 2 that were in the finals of all these tournaments. And what I'm trying to say is, you guys mentioned that Gamin Gladiators, you know what's coming, you know what to expect, but all of last year you had the target on your back. You were the team that was defining the meta, and everyone was having to learn how to play against you for months. And I feel like what we're missing here is that Gamin Gladiators understands their strategy at its core, because it's what they do across any patch if it's possible. And these teams have only had 3 weeks or so of scrims, maybe even 2 weeks of this tournament, to figure out how to deal with it. And it's just so scary to think that they can do it with so many different heroes in so many different ways, so many combinations. You can't ban them all out. It's like, how do you avoid the train when you're, you know, tied to the tracks?
I mean, I will say 2 things. Like, first of all, it's obviously Liquid are on the back foot, right? Like, when you look at this draft, they're kind of forced to first pick Brew because it's their only way to ban these 3 heroes and not also give them Brewmaster at the same time. But secondary, like, not just to look at only the draft. Last game, I think Monkey CM versus Jakiro Beast, I'm pretty sure you can debate which lane should win and how hard should they win. Liquid didn't have a laning stage in their safe lane after 4 minutes. And that's not just losing, that's getting destroyed. Like, Monkey King didn't touch that lane anymore, nor did CM. So it's not just the heroes that need to change. I hope they had like a small talk about maybe we need some different itemization, some different movement, contest to Lotus, whatever it is. Because it's not only the draft, you are being outplayed left, right, and center as well.
Yeah, you probably can't make those adjustments mid-series very easy, so I do like the fact that they just got rid of like the Jakiro this time around and the Hoodwink, the Snap, so they're gonna have to find a new hero for their position 4 that can do that bullying. What I'm a little worried about though is I feel like you had a couple angles to take this. It's either you ban out Dyrachyo and you ban the Brood, you ban the CK. When you ban out one of them, he's just gonna pick the other, and I feel like it doesn't really phase their draft at all in any type of direction. So they ban the Beast there, and now you still have the Chen to deal with, and you know some Brood is gonna come from as well. It's like Gamin Gladiators, anyone can see this. It's this Chen Brute, it was coming from 10 miles away, and I don't know what your plan is against this. Supports, I think. Pick better supports this game. CM's banned. What can we possibly do? Maybe a Nyx is a hero that's decent versus Chen. I think you need to contest this Chen, because that Chen destroyed his lane, and what did he do after, as Kezu mentioned? He went through the gate, and then he destroyed top lane as well. So at least deal with one of your lanes right now.
Yeah, the problem with Nyx is even if it deals with the creep, I don't think you're ever pressuring the Broodmother if it is the carry. And despite what happens in the first 4 or 5 minutes, the Broodmother should have a perfectly good farm at 5 minutes and should be able to be independent and left alone. And so what we saw yesterday was Mickey's Razor in the safe lane getting camped 4 minutes in. And that's the story of these two teams playing against each other. Jiracho has all the space in the world, and the supports on Gamin are allowed to move freely. So I like Techies a lot more than Nyx, because you're not going to leave that lane as a 5. Like, you can't. Brewmaster plus Techie, so much slow, so much spell damage, so much chase potential, that there will need to be multiple heroes from Gamin in order to occupy that lane, and that's the part that I at least am happy to see Team Liquid addressing.
But it has an abysmal win rate, as we just saw, 1-7. That's also just saying it's not really a strong hero right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one positive side of it is the fact that, yeah, it's probably like a C-list type of hero, but all the best 4s are banned. So he probably was playing against one of those 4 that are banned right now and losing every game. But if they're all out of the pool, he suddenly becomes a bit stronger, because he is one of the stronger laners in Dota. Just not as strong as Jakiro, the Weaver, the Snapfire, or the Hoodwink. I'm not sure if there's something stronger you could pick, so their idea is still there. They want to try and give 33 a game, because last game he didn't get to play Dota.
Oh, at least we see that the mood is definitely there for Team Liquid. High spirits, which is also incredibly important in a series like this. They got an Alchemist coming out for Gamin Gladiators, so Flex still open, but that's another contender for carry.
Well, I do think, this has to be the carry, at least for now. Chen, Auk together. We all know what Gamin will do with their draft. It's going to be good lanes into tempo. So far, this is a great Alchemist game. The damage you have on Liquid, it's very slow. I never see this Alchemist going to, like, to be bursted before his ult. He's going to heal through, like, all the Radiance or whatever stuff they're going to throw at him as well. So, very strong so far. It does mean that your Brood is offlane. Maybe there's something, with the laning stage against the ET. But, yeah, just one of their kind of S-tier type of carries.
It's kind of an interesting pick on second pick, because they could have technically flexed this Brood all the way to the end, right? But I wonder if they're just gonna pick another core here. That would make no sense to me. Just like slap a Pango down or something and just be like, or whatever, pick their mid and be like, we don't really care about taking second pick advantage here. We're just gonna pick our heroes. We're gonna pick them early, and we know what we want to do, and you just want to make sure we have the heroes we want for this game.
I mean, if you're Liquid, do you want to run back the Pango, or do you just take a completely different approach? Because, like, maybe if you're running... Because right now, okay, top lane could be a similar scenario. I feel like Brood Techies could lose this lane quite hard. Suddenly you have no lanes to rotate to. Like, would you rather have a hero that is going to try to rotate around, or just like, I'm going to destroy this Invoker mid, and I'm going to stay here, and you guys play around me?
Well,
like
I want a TA mid, because I want a hero that can lane versus Invoker, and also doesn't get owned by this necrotic web stuff in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And I feel like TA can kind of not really rely on regen, and also just lane versus Invoker, and it's still in the pool for some reason.
Yeah, but that makes me think that it's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
TA has plenty of those.
Because the Gamin banned TA in the first game just now, so it's very much on the radar. I mean, we're going to get a Monkey King out of Liquid. I'm wondering if there's any flex potential. It's very unusual for Gamin to save Tofu's pick till last.
That's not going mid. Almost 100, I'm sure. So that's going to be a safe lane Monkey King. They're picking their mid last. And can Tofu play Alchemist? That is the question of the day. I'm sure he can.
I'm pretty sure he can.
Yeah.
Brian?
I would imagine Tofu can do it.
I was going to say, if they do play him on Alchemist, I think Mickey will have pretty solid free farm, because of the fact that not only is Monkey King good against 2 melees, but you also have ET with the briefcase bringing the business. But like, what I like about this Monkey King pick this game as opposed to last game is, since it's picked later in the draft, I think it's based on the matchups, much more set up to actually rotate through the Twin Gate and punish the potential Alchemist safe lane. Like, something about this draft to me for Team Liquid at least boasts like they'll have some playmaking potential in the early to mid game, and they might be able to get active before these Broodmothers connect with like the auras of the Chen. So, I do like the Monkey King a lot more this game. The concern is like if this Alchemist does get flexed, or if Broodmother Necrotic Webs is really that broken,
I mean, I'm thinking it's because they're banning out Dazzle, which...
Yeah.
I don't know how much flexibility there's going. I thought this is just going to be like some +4 for Tofu that will help your Brood in the lane and like maybe offset some matchups. Like maybe, I don't know how much Phoenix they have played. I don't think they're necessarily a Phoenix team, but something that helps your Brood get through the lane against 2 dudes that like kind of want to right-click. Maybe some Dark Willow, some counter team fight.
Bring him back, yeah.
I don't know if you guys see anything else.
Maybe they're thinking that is a position 4 potential Dazzle as well. That hero is still strong in lane against certain matchups if you can just right-click him down.
Yeah.
Probably against Elder Titan might be annoying because you just want to get in there and right-click if you stack up too much. But yeah, I think we've gone to a position now where both these teams have realized by far the best supports in the game right now for winning lanes, and now we're just really digging down the list here to see what is left here. And I honestly I don't know what's left for Gamin Gladiators. That's something that's like super strong here.
Muerta or something? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Something like
yes,
that.
as good as mine.
Yeah.
Oh no, that sounds pretty grim. I'm sure that this is a puzzle that Liquid will attempt to deal with as best they can. Templar Assassin is still in the pool, but again, it's because it's also not banned. It just shouts trap. And I'm sure that's how Liquid feel.
It could also be overconfidence. I will say that even if they're the best, they can sometimes make an oversight. I mean, they're playing so good that they probably don't even really care all that much. Like, if they play a good hero, they will still know how to kind of counter it. So I feel like their bans are pretty on point.
What? Oh, they have Sand King still in the pool. I was thinking like Keeper the Light or some heavy like spell damage nuker to defend towers. Sand King does it with his body, as I think they were planning to do last game with the Tidehunter. Sadly, he started the game really miniature because of his facets. So it was not big enough to do that in the mid game. Maybe Sand King from the mid lane will be able to hit that timing a bit better. Yeah, because he hits more solo priority, probably getting stacks. ET Techie's very good for stacking. You can use the Spirit, you can use the bombs. I like this a lot more. I think it deals with the Broodmother potential pressure. I think it's going to be absolutely crucial that Shen's going to come through the Twin Gate. Sand King needs to be there to save the tower that we saw go down super early for Mickey in Game 1.
Okay, I mean, yeah, this +4 has to just be one of the 4 or 5 we threw out at this point. There aren't that many left. If it is going to be the +4, which I feel like it is.
I mean, if you're not going to try and win your lane, what about like a Spirit Breaker or something like that and just play the map? Because, like, I don't know what's going to just guarantee win you a lane with what's left. I just don't see it.
Could be standard Rubik.
I feel like damage controlling would be fine, or like just some...
Rubik for Sand King makes sense.
Yeah.
And I still kind of like the Muerta and whatever else I mentioned before, which I have brain damage, so I forgot about it.
I like the Spirit Breaker. Just we all have a different idea, and I'm sure... Oh, that's the best support in the game right there.
No, we gotta have a Shadow Fiend, and we will see... the Invoker be played as a position.
It was right in front of us the whole time.
Should have known.
Should have known.
It's one of the options that we mentioned, I believe. I thought.
I feel like this is how Team Liquid beat Falcons earlier, was the surprise flex of the SF first pick into a carry, which allowed them to win mid. Now we're seeing the surprise mid pick again, the Invoker, then flexed to support, allowing you to get that favorable matchup.
I mean, this was an obvious Invoker support pick. He's laning versus ET, so he's going to use a Tornado to remove the Astral. Can't believe any of us got hired for this event.
That's true. We're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Nice last event working with you guys.
No, I mean, I think it's interesting. It might work. But I think more than anything, they just want to survive that bot lane, get Brood his levels, just dispel the ET. I don't think they're going to crush that lane until maybe when Brood gets higher level, right? Mid lane should be a definite stomp. I think Shadow Fiend versus SK is not a matchup in which you can even get creeps in. As we saw in the earlier tournament, I think Thompson was playing it mid lane versus, I believe, who was a noob or something. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But that matchup was very difficult and has been proven before. In the safe lane, we'll have to see about that one. Brewmaster should be fine versus Alchemist, so that is a lane that can hold tempo for them.
I'm favoring Gaming's draft, which I guess kind of goes without saying, but Liquid have a way better shot at fighting back. I'm looking at their supports. Maybe you can play through Nisha mid, right? Like you Burrow Strike Quinn when he plays over-aggressive, bring Boxy into the mid lane. If Mickey has a good game, he can rotate around. So this time around, I just want to see them have better lanes, go together, combine your heroes, and fight into Gamin.
Mickey's the pace setter for Liquid here. I think he's going to have to get active really early. Either the Twin Gate, he might even be going mid to be like a 4-man gank because he offers the stun that the supports lack. That's what I'm keeping an eye on, mid lane, because Quinn's set up for the snowball, and we've seen SF punish these melee heroes pretty hard throughout this event.
Yeah, that was a very sad sign.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, okay, Broodmother, solo lane, that's hard to deal with. SF's now got the favorable 1v1. Duracio's a tempo hero. We've seen the script written out. This is the sequel. Will it play out the same as the original?
Well, let's find out what's going to happen. Game number 2 of this grand finals between Liquid and Gamin Gladiators. First, some words from Coach CY.
Hey, Mario CY, what do you think about the drafts that you ended up with?
I like it. I'm a SF enjoyer, so I'm happy we finally got to pick it.
That's it? I mean, there's a lot of other interesting heroes we got to see. You're up against the techies. You worried about that hero? Not in the meta anymore?
I'm not worried about techies at all. Like, maybe he's cooking something on it, you know, but like, I don't know. I haven't seen much of this hero, to be honest.
I feel like they have better ways to kill the spiders, at least, this game. That could slow down Dracio's laning stage, maybe?
Maybe, but the thing is, like, you can kill spiders, but he kind of also jungles, and it's not always easy to reach them anyways.
All right, well, good luck in the match.
Thank you so much.
Well, it was indeed a trap. The Invoker is not going to be going mid. They are playing a support Invoker, and they swerve to the Shadow Feed to keep the Nisha Sand King down. That was a deadly twist in the draft, Avery.
Deadly for somebody. That is the question. Who here? I mean, if history says anything, it's probably for Liquid, but I actually would have preferred the Invoker mid.
Okay.
I don't know what that says. Maybe I'm horribly wrong on that.
Why?
I don't know. I was feeling the core Invoker in this game. I think he actually has some decent core matchups, like the EMP burn on the Brewmaster is pretty nasty. The Dispels for the ET and the Monkey are both very good. Invoker kind of just owns Monkey King a lot of the game. It's a really rough core-on-core matchup. Even we saw, I think, Quinn play this Invoker into Tiny Mid a lot this tournament, and I think similar reasons work against the Sand King in terms of if you just keep Tornado EMPing this hero, you can't make rotations, you can't counter gang fights, it's kind of awkward, and you're a Vessel buyer, so you remove the healing aspect of a Sand King rushing Bloodstone, as well as some of the Monkey effects. I thought it was a great core Invoker game. Now, a lot of those...
Whoa, hold up. I heard a lot of things, but lanes, who wins harder against Sand King?
Well, Shadow King.
Okay, well then I rest my case, Your Honor.
I mean, there is some merit there.
Does anything else matter in this series, Avery?
I mean, to me, it goes back to like that Dazzle Ember pick. It's a cheese lane pick that Quinn basically saying, I'm going to demolish Nisha so hard this guy doesn't get to play the game.
Yep.
That has happened a lot, so there's some fate to be had there.
And if the Sand King doesn't get to play the game, then you don't have anybody to stop this push that's going to be coming from Gamin Gladiators, though a push from Liquid comes through to get first blood on Celery.
Yeah, sneaky move. Hiding back behind the trees. They get the first blood for their carry. Very happy about that if you're Liquid. And they do lose 3 runes. A little sad about that if you're Liquid, especially when there's an Alchemist on board.
Now this lane, last time around we had the situation where we were talking about how the off lane of Liquid was pretty passive. Now in their draft, they opted for a killing duo. I was not thrilled to see techies because, frankly, I think this hero got nerfed too much that I don't think it's as strong a laner. Holy cow, Insania just beat down Tofu. But they are already using that blast off with the facet to good extent here. Doraccio is going to suicide kill. Nicely done, holding on to the unstable concoction, and they get the kill on Boxy in return.
That was very close and a big deny to get. Still Liquid coming out swinging in this game too, and that is a good sign to see. This team needs some confidence boost going into this game. Need to just go out there and play for the win, not try and avoid the loss. So it's good to see them striking back here early, gain some confidence early on in this game, and get to actually play the game, because they did not get to do much of that in game 1. Going back for some similar things here with the Monkey King, but a support duo that should be stronger in the early game. I think that's the upside of the techies here.
Now the blast off. Again, this facet allowing extra damage combined with a Brewmaster who is already one of the stronger laners when it comes to kills thanks to this combination of burn and clap.
Now, Liquid supports. This was one of my big factors. You've got to get stuff done in the early game if you're Liquid supports. And I feel like they've already gotten more done here than in maybe some of these previous games combined.
Yeah, absolutely. And Insania is making really good work at this timing where there is no level 2 on Tofu. Therefore, there's no Tornado. Therefore, there's no Dispel to his Spirit and his extra damage. So he just keeps on taking it to Gamin Gladiators in this window where he has the advantage before Tofu comes in with the counter.
And Nisha's doing fine mid. Not as low as I would have thought. Still has a bottle charge, picks up a water rune. He's cruising here, going even on the CS board early. Good sign for him. If it gets hard later, he can always go back to the stacks. And if you're Liquid, if you're winning the 2 side lanes, you almost don't care what happens mid because he's a Sand King. I mean, whatever. Just going to be a playmaker. Doraccio getting aggressive, trying to strike back.
He is going to get this kill, looks like, as he... Oh, it's not quite fast enough.
Didn't get the courier either. Boxy continuing the outplays. And double bracer already up for 33 means his rotation potential is there. You can leave this Brew alone to a decent degree. Maybe look for the turnaround kill mid on the Shadow Fiend, gank bottom. Really want this Techies to accelerate this game. That could be the strength of this pick here for Liquid, even if the hero's maybe not the strongest in the meta.
Nisha, Burrow Strike away. Quinn's going to chase after him, though.
So slow.
And the build-up movement speed slow is so obnoxious. Meanwhile, the aggression from 33 and Boxy pays out yet another kill, this time Celery.
And they are just demolishing this Chen Alk lane. Not a lane that Gamin, I think, are used to losing. At least these Alk combinations usually go well for them. Especially with all the extra gold Dyrachyo had. He started this game with so much extra gold from the bounty runes plus seed money. Not able to translate it into a lane win here, and Ace in trouble.
Oh, the tornado just in time. Well played by Tofu. Well positioned to hit both heroes. Otherwise, Ace surely would have died there.
Yeah, that would have been such a big kill for Insania. Went for this Boots investment, has been dominating the lane. That would have been the big payoff experience-wise. But good news is you burn out that mana from Tofu, now you can just go back in swinging.
Yeah, it doesn't really make that much of a difference if Ace lives, but he's on no HP, therefore he can't challenge any CS whatsoever. And Insania almost gets the kill on Tofu. Once again, the tornado intercepts, but you're left in the same situation.
Yeah, they're struggling down here. Both side lanes for Gamin.
Bomb land, Celery. Soon to blow up. They're going to try and get the counter kill on Boxy with the acid spray. Unstable concoction. That is enough.
I almost wish he had an urn on this Brewmaster.
Oh, Nisha, another ace, long range, and the raindrop is not enough. The buildup of damage. This matchup is just too rough.
Yeah, turned up the heat. The early portions of that lane were going okay. It just escalated very quick, and now Quinn has a 2-level advantage on this Sand King mid. Already level 6.
Tofu, tornado after tornado, right before the final hit can come in. And Ace is getting some decent damage on Mickey on the way back, but of course, Insania makes it much worse for Ace to keep trading.
These tornadoes have been clutch, but they're just damage control down here. Still a much better laning phase overall for Liquid. All three of their cores finding something, and the supports being a lot more active. In fact, Boxy smoked mid. Looking for a low Shadow Fiend, or maybe just blocking some camps. Could get the connection with the Sand King.
They might be able to sandwich him here. Quinn. Oh no, what's happening? They had an opportunity. Burrow Strike, Sandstorm, Blast Off. Like, surely all of that combined would be close.
They just missed him.
Ooh.
Unfortunate. To be honest, I don't know if Quinn actually dies. He has Fairy Fire, Raindrop Wand, and he already has Requiem.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a close call if maybe he gets off the Requiem and
they're going to try again.
Them both. Okay, they bring in Insania. They're like, we need more. We need 4 heroes to make sure that Quinn dies here, and he still gets off the Requiem. The deck Requiem goes out. It's not enough to kill Nisha.
Sub 100 HP on multiple heroes.
Jeez.
But Liquid walk it off. They get that big SF kill.
And they're securing the 6-minute power rune as well. So if it's something really good, like a regen, Nisha would be able to just stay in lane.
And I mean, there are clearly some adjustments Liquid have made going into this game, which is good to see. Like the fact that 33 rotated here early, kind of picking up on that game one. Hey, these guys are going to bring numbers to plays. We just have to overcompensate and make sure the ones that we're committing to work, especially these big core-oriented ganks. I like that. Just bring the Brewmaster mid. It's not going to cost 33 too much here. You can just run back to top. It's not like you're solo pressuring the Alk anyway. Make sure some of these plays work so you can build some steam here on your supports.
That was sort of the MO at one point in time when Gamin Gladiators was the most dominant team of the 2023 regular season. They kept on bringing both supports into the mid lane all the time to help out Quinn. And at some point in time, it developed where it was like, okay, both teams bring both supports. And then all of a sudden, maybe a core is joining in. And then we got to some craziness where there were 5 people mid at 7-8 minutes.
I mean, it is the Quinn effect. You have a player that's going to try and dominate mid and perhaps do it with some of these cheese picks. It automatically creates a power imbalance. Whenever you have a power imbalance on the map in Dota 2, it kind of sucks everybody towards it. One team's looking to exploit it, the other's looking to defend against it. So a lot of time for Gamin is around this mid lane, which is why they like these independent side lanes. Heroes like Alk and Brood, who when you get left alone and you ignore them for 2 minutes, suddenly they're level 6, suddenly they're just flash farming jungle. Become big problems here. So if you're Liquid, you really have to make sure those mid ganks work, because it's like that game 1. You get sucked into these skirmishes that are unfavorable against a ranged mid hero who's just outpacing you, and you're in trouble. We'll contest the
bomb, miss the stomp, miss the blast off.
This is a good opportunity to learn.
Not Liquid's finest hour.
But they did learn. They've got that going for them.
What do you think they learned then?
They're learning a lot. I think they've been learning a lot recently against Gamin.
Mickey, meanwhile, going to receive a similar gank here, but this time it's paired up with 2 cores as Quinn made his way across the map. Not that he was needed for the kill, but he is helpful when it comes to tower pressure, because Liquid's already taken the top tower, so Gamin Gladiators want to be able to mirror that.
So open up the tower for Ace. Ice armor online for Celery. Going to buff everybody up here. And good news for Liquid is at least you're able to trade out that top tower on the Brew. 33, having a pretty good game here on one of his better heroes in the Brewmaster. It's why they first picked it. I think Liquid felt like a lot of these offlaners were getting banned out towards the end of the draft and just wanted to secure one they felt very confident with early. Can't blame them there.
Quinn gets a regen rune. Big pickup.
You have some levels between the Sand King and Brewmaster if you can combine them here. You'd particularly love to bring down the Shadow Fiend 1 or 2 more times in this early game. He's very susceptible to the numbers right now. I don't think Gamin would actually mind farming up a bit here. All 3 of their cores love the flash from the jungle right now.
And Celery is taking over more real estate in your jungle. So it's not just the cores that are going to be farming, but also Celery himself is going to try and take some camps away from you. Nice use of the Hurricane to make sure his hero is outside of Burrow Strike range. Nisha's still looking for something with his phase boots, but does not have the superior movement speed against an Invoker or Broodmother.
Failed move for Liquid. Buying time for Gamin's cores as Durachu gets top lane in. Quinn finishes up some Ancients. These heroes are finding the levels. Now, downside for Gamin right now is you're missing a lot of levels on this support Invoker. Tofu kind of just doesn't exist right now. Another reason I feel if you're Liquid, you really want to ramp up the pressure or fight around this tier 1 mid, get something going. You just have such a good spell advantage right now, and these cores on Gamin don't want to have to go to fights.
It's going to be hard kill, but he doesn't have chemical range. And it's possible if they hit the blast off the right time. Never mind, the Brewmaster is here, Tornado comes in, but they've already got the burn damage on. Cloud's going to be used, and they're going to use the Primal Split just to make sure that Durachu is dead and maybe look for a little bit more. Meanwhile, Nisha holding their jungle with the Sandstorm as Celery continues to be an obnoxious presence around this area.
He's finding some decent farm on this Chen. Almost level 6 as well. Still haven't seen a Brewmaster ult or Epicenter be put to use around this mid tower, which I think is the biggest place you'd want to get them done. That kill you'll definitely take for the Brew ult. But now you're going to have to wait a little bit if you want to make this move.
The root was bottom, and they're both going to bank on it being bottom. It's top amp damage, and that'll be secured for Nisha, it looks like.
Nice little rune pickup for him. I mean, better to take it away from the Shadow Fiend here for sure.
Yeah.
Game slows down a little bit. I mean, Liquid stabilized. So the big question coming into this game, you do not want to go down 0-2 in this series, especially 2 games where you just get decimated by 20 minutes. It's very important to stabilize this early game. And the supports have done their job here. So Liquid will go back for some stacks, try and get this blink on the Sand King, give them the initiation power.
I like
really
that
sets up the supports.
Joining in on this, because he needs the experience to be able to get to his level 6, but it does leave nobody up here with 33 who gets ganked by the Tofu Quinn duo.
And collect his soul, +1 on the board.
And he's going to go straight for Yasha Kaya. What do you make of these different SF builds? We've seen some that just flat out just do not go Yasha Kaya. Do you think it's necessary to always have that item? Ace, Boxy didn't have the right position for the blast off. Now that he's out here, though, they can still probably catch up to him with the Boundless Strike, really helping things out. Leads to the Burrow Strike. They've got him. Oh, what? How did that happen? 1 troll versus 4 heroes, and somehow he nabs the last hit.
That's not for the likes of you.
That is unbelievably bad luck.
Small hill troll attack for 9 physical.
Was it actually the small hill troll?
I think so. No, it was the big one.
Oh, okay.
But it needed the small one as well. Well, I mean, sometimes you're just cursed, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we have the line of Destiny and Fate and Gamin Gladiators and Liquid. Liquid would call this a curse.
That felt very cursed right there. Absolutely. As that was a big kill to snag, and it gets denied from you. Just feels bad here. Good news is Ace's game is way slower than last time. So you're still doing your job at shutting down this Brood, which, I mean, that Brood went absolutely rampant in that game one. Of course, it was from a different position, but, you know, Gamin are going to try and do similar things with it. That was a swing around move to try and kind of backstab this jungle area that was unsuccessful. Slows down Ace's game, slows down those auras, gives you more time to operate here. You're Liquid. Get that team fight together.
Dyrachyo staying ahead of the gank from Liquid. Still working towards his Radiance.
These 2 carries are farmed for Gamin. That they have for sure, but they're still susceptible. You can find connections with this Sand King Blink. It is online for Nisha. He has Shield Rune as well. So it'd be a really good time to smoke it up on the side of Liquid. Blink in. The Blink Burrow Strike pretty much sets up your Stomp Earth Splitter. It sets up your Techie spells. It's a guaranteed kill on almost anybody.
Going for it. Oh, Hurricane puts them farther away outside of all of it. No Burrow Strike, no Epicenter damage. Celery just baited out a play. Liquid didn't have the smoke ready to go. Boxy bought one up. They obviously wanted to make a move with this, but Celery, through pressure on the mid lane, got Liquid to make a mistake.
I mean, Celery honestly has been owning this game with this Hurricane, just playing up in Liquid's face, scouting areas, forcing responses, and always getting out, which is a tough line to walk with this Chen. When you're fairly slow and you have some greedy cores who need time to farm, you're not pushing Liquid down here. You're trying to scale a bit more. Bit of a different play style from Gamin, despite it having a similar feel in the draft. Radiance will be done here for Dyrachyo. Still at a very decent timing. But I don't think you really want to just run in the fight without a BKB.